Good evening, everyone. Those who are in Uganda, and greetings wherever you are. It is Thursday, the 12th of June. We are going to have a political discussion, and the scope will be Uganda. We're going to discuss the state of Uganda, and quite a number of things have happened. I guess the discussants will be jumping in and telling us what has happened, where and how, and what they thought about whatever has happened. We are a Christian fellowship, but who do not neglect political affairs, because we believe that there is always God involved. We know that God is involved in politics and in the leadership of nations. So that's why we don't neglect politics. We are political as Christians, because we serve a God who believes in leadership. So this Thursday, we are going to talk about a number of things. We shall start with one of our panelists here, giving us a summary of the budget. I've been told that the budget has been read. I think it will be followed up with the statement of the president. But for now, we'll have a summary of key points from that budget. I hope that our resident economist and historian, Pedson, has listened to it. He will give us the points that he wants us to appreciate. We are looking at like 4 items today. What has been happening in Uganda? We have had the birth of new political parties and the wave of crossovers. Some politicians have crossed from their parties that we have known, and they have joined new parties and new frameworks and new umbrellas. We'll be looking at that, whether the birth of new political parties is a solution to Uganda's political problems. And then we'll be looking at the reasons that those who have crossed have given and why they have crossed. We will also be looking at item number 2, the NRM PDM, and we'll be asking whether it is an economic growth or economic development approach, with the PDM where the president moves with a bullion van to each and every parish. PDM is parish development model. Is it really a development model, or is it a growth model? If it is a development model like it claims, are people really developing, etc.? Is the president consistent? Because recently he said that Uganda has registered an economic growth, but again, the approach and the module that we have in place and in communities and in parishes is a development module. It's not a growth module. Is there a contradiction between what the president reads and what he does, etc., etc.? Is there a difference between economic growth and economic development? What does Uganda need? Those are very important issues to look at. Item number 3 will be what is a protest vote, and should we be optimistic about 2026? The leading opposition political party is the National Unity Platform, that's NUP, and they have alerted Ugandans that come 2026, they are going to do a protest vote. Now, they are not going to protest voting. No, they are going to vote in a protest way. So they want everyone to come and cast their vote in a protest way. And one of the things that I've heard is, when you cast your vote, do not leave the polling station. Make sure that you protest the rigging, you protest all the inadequacies by the Electoral Commission. Be there. It is a protest vote. Be there, vote, everyone come and vote. Now, there are other definitions, there are other political definitions of a protest vote. I haven't heard the National Unity Platform actually teach those. I have only heard Betty Nambo's attempting that. But again, delving into into the NOOP or the NOOPist version of protest vote. So it looks like it is a political idea, yes, but in practice, as far as the NOOP headquarters are concerned, they are going to practice otherwise, not the ideology itself. So that's item number 3. Then number 4 will be what is the responsibility of an ordinary citizen towards a better Uganda? What should Ugandans do? We were having a loose conversation here with my brother Reverend, and he was telling us that the problem he has with Ugandan politics is it is all filled with talk. It is all talk and no action. So what should Ugandans do? Because we have that civic responsibility of casting your vote, yes. But what else can we do? What are we not doing? Or is our indifference, let me use that term, an indication that everything is okay, we are all right? What does it mean? And these are things that we would like to address and talk about. So you're welcome. You're welcome. We want everyone to come. Lorna has told me that they are still listening to the budget speech. I don't know whether is it still on? Is it still ongoing?
Yes, Museveni is still speaking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know. Okay, fine. Fine. Let's start with that first half of the budget. If if anyone can just give us what they have heard from the budget, something we can deal with for now. Who wants to go first? Petson Tembana, do you want to address any? I don't know.
Okay. Thank you. The budget is okay. Talk about the figures. It is 72 trillion Ugandan shillings, and of this money, the funding is going to be, we are going to collect taxes of 37.5 trillion. And then we're going to borrow domestically 11.3 trillion.
Mm.
And then we'll have domestic refinancing. Now, what this means is that, okay, when you talk about domestic borrowing, it means going to the market and you issue government papers, treasury bonds and treasury bills. So they are going to go and borrow. Now, remember, taxed the taxpayer 37.
Your network is squeaking.
You hear me?
Continue again and we see.
Can
you maybe you could do something.
Okay. Hello? Okay, let me just try to change the network.
How about there before you change?
Okay. Hello?
Yes?
Is better.
No. You change.
Carry one can there.
Okay.
Let me try to change the network.
Yeah, sure. We'll be waiting. Let's keep it on just a few minutes, and then he takes us through that whatever he can for now, and then we will address that budget issue maybe another Thursday. But for now, let us have those highlights so that we can continuably. Right.
Hello?
Pedro, you're back?
Yes. Is this better?
Yes, but can you, if you don't mind, can you restart now very quickly? Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. I was saying
Mm.
the budget that was read by the Minister of Finance is 72 trillion. I'm just giving the figures, and then the money that we're going to correct the revenue is 37.5. But this has to be in mind that last year we corrected 31 trillion, so we don't know where the 6 is going to come from. Then we are going to borrow 11.3 domestically from the government bonds and the government bills. And then the other source of finance, we are going to refinance. Sorry, we're going to do it's called debt refinancing. So if Isaiah was demanding me money, instead of paying him, I tell him to first hold on instead of paying him, and I use his money. So the money that was going to be used to pay Isaiah is also going to be reused in this budget. And then we'll keep telling Isaiah, continue demanding us, we can add him more interest. Then we're going to borrow externally 2.8 trillion.
Only
Hello?
two.
No, grants are 2 trillion. Then we're going to borrow externally 11.3 trillion. So that is, sorry? Yeah, that is the money that is going to finance the budget of 72 trillion. Now, this money, the 72 trillion, 8.7 trillion, 8.5 trillion is going for wage payments for government workers. Then 28.3 is for recurrent expenditure. Recurrent
Benson,
expenditure.
let's go back there because we are going to collect 37. We are going to borrow internally 11 and externally 11. That is 54. And then the grant is 2 trillion. That is 56. Then where does the 18 get from? Where do we get the to make 70?
It was 37. Let me just get a calculator.
Yes.
Let me get a calculator here quickly. We have 37 that URA is going to correct.
Yes, those are taxes.
Then we're going to borrow internally 11.38. That comes to 48.9.
Okay.
Then we have debt reservicing. Now, debt reservicing is, I'll give an example. Landlord is demanding you. You have money to pay him, but then you tell the landlord, you're like, you know what, let me pay you next month. So you use the money for landlord to buy food.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So you have taken it back now, afresh. Okay.
You've taken it back. So that the debt reservicing is 10 trillion, 10.3. Okay. Then we're going to borrow externally 11.33 plus 11.33. And then we expect to get grants worth 2.8 trillion. So when you add that, it comes to 72 trillion.
Oh. Okay. So
Okay.
now you are breaking now down
what we're going to use the money for.
Yes, the budget now. Now we are going how we are going to spend the budget.
Now we are going to pay salaries 8.5 trillion.
8.
Okay. 8.5 trillion. Government workers. This includes the armed forces and teachers. Then we are going to the recurrent expenditure. The non-wage, the money that we consume, we buy fuel, we buy stationery, PDM, hotels, workshops. It is 28.3 trillion.
Yes.
Now, the money that is going into development expenditure, development is building roads, dams. I think even buying guns also comes here. Development, infrastructure. It is 18.2 trillion.
18.
Then 18.2 trillion. Then we're going to pay off debts. The debt reservicing is 10 trillion. Then also we have domestic areas. This is 1.4. Now, domestic areas, this is 1.4. I think this one here is also a point of discussion. So this is where government has consumed services or has procured goods, but they haven't paid for from the private sector. We have 1.4 trillion. The rest of the money is little money. It's in billions, it's little money. So let me just ignore it as 0.4, 0.3.
So the salaries are taking 8 trillion.
And
then
I like the tone. Little money. This little money is 0.3 billion. Little money.
Yes, it is little money. It is little money because we
yes,
are
compared to the budget that we're talking about.
Yes, it is little money. So the salaries are taking 8 trillion. Then the infrastructure, the things that benefit the citizens are taking 18. 18 plus 8, that is
18 plus 8, that is okay. This is let me get a calculator here again. This is 8.57 plus the one that is for consuming recurrent. You're asking about recurrent. Recurrent is 28.33. 28.33. The one for consuming.
28.
Yeah, 28.33.
I think our consuming abilities are a little bit costly. Okay, 28.
Then the one that we're going to use for development, roads, bridges, is 18.25.
Okay, we have eaten 28. We are going to use 18.35.
We have eaten because even the salaries is also part of the eating. So when you add the salaries plus what we're going to consume, it comes to 36.9 trillion.
I thought the 8 was in the 28.
There's 8, then there's 28.
What does the budget mean when it says that we're going to consume?
Now, all the money that the 72 trillion, we are going to spend it. And how we're going to spend it? We're going to spend it one on salaries, which is 8.5 trillion. Then we're going to spend it on recurrent recurrent expenditure, which is the things that I'm talking about, the fuel,
Yes. Okay.
The PDM,
maintaining government institutions.
Now those ones, it is 28.3 trillion. 28.3 trillion.
Okay.
It's
quite an amount. Okay. Any other thing you wanted to tell us?
But you see, me personally, I just made the resolution. The things I want to like to but I'm failing to get the English word.
The things you want to immunize yourself against.
It is religion and politics, and since we're discussing politics, because I'll tell you,
yes,
this budget here now, last year, this is of course this is now hard information. Last year we had a budget of 72 trillion, the same budget if you people remember. But the money that we managed to get, total cash, the money that URA collected, the money that we borrowed externally, the money that we borrowed internally, it was about 48 trillion. Okay? But remember, we had a budget of 72 trillion. And this money that we collected of 48 trillion, this has been the trend like for the last 5 years. Our money that we collect has been around 40 something. The money that comes from every source of money, everything, even including the fines that we're paying of police, everything
After
comes to
everything
around,
is exhausted.
comes to around there. And this is the trend that we have been having.
How
But
many-
then around
many-
48, last year was 48. But
Yes,
of course
yes.
it has increased a bit, but we are there. Now, remember we run a cash budget. Of course,
Yes.
okay, now we have talked about areas where people are demanding us, but the assumption is the work that is done is based on the money that we have. So literally, our budget should be around the money that we collect, should be around 45 or 40 something. Yes. But do you know what these politicians do? These politicians go and do a budget that is twice the money that we expect to collect for political reasons. Because they're going to go and put, let's say they'll put a road in the budget, that they're going to do a road, maybe let's say northern, but that, okay. Like in Kabwe, they will do a Masheruka Kabwe road and they put it in the budget and they'll put, let's say, 60 billion. Now, the voters will vote knowing that the road is going to come. But this is for political reasons, why it's there. They know that they are not going to fund this. I think you people have heard of what they call unfunded priorities. So they keep these things in the budget just for political reasons. And by the way, remember, the 48 trillion that we have talked about, 15, about 15 goes for security, about 2 or 3 goes to the first house. Then, of course, wages are paid automatically. So even just half of it is already earmarked. So the money that stays for doing certain development works is like 5 trillion. But then each year we keep passing a budget of 72 trillion for political reasons.
But Rutembana, don't you think 5 trillion is too small? You revise your figures.
No, I've told you, Isaiah, we collect 48 trillion.
Yes.
Defense and security. Defense, I'm talking about police, security, and all, they take about 15. Okay? The state house budget.
Every budget
around,
year.
Yes.
Actually, but Rutembana, that is too much because guns do not get old by that time, really. Anyway,
and that's why I was telling you, of recent, I've tried to separate myself away from politics and religion because of such reasons.
Yes.
The state house will take about 2 trillion and they will even come back for a supplementary budget. Now the wages people are paid, that one we have no problem with it. Then so when you subtract all that money that we have talked about from the 48 trillion that we collected, the money that is left for paying these contractors, how much is it? It is very little money.
Very little.
Hey.
Very little. They even demand like 3 budgets reading, and they are still demanding those contractors.
Exactly. But they are always in the budget for political reason. Your road, we put it in the budget. Your health center is in the budget. This year, when the MP is campaigning, didn't you hear the health center? It was in the budget. It is going to come. They vote for him like that. So that's what I can say. But these budgets are really political.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Others, what do you have to say? Because I actually agree with Temana on this issue personally. I think that these budgets are 75% political budgets, and that I understand. And the other thing that I also agree, or I would like to state, is that politics is a very expensive venture. So I really sympathize with the State House because they have a very huge animal with an insatiable greed, and that animal is called politics. So when the State House has that, what they call do they call it the exclusive? What do they call it? That and
Classified.
this the classified, yeah. When they bring on that whole thing they call the classified budget, it is because they're going to feed that animal called politics. And as you can see, that is the money that you see in elections, that is the money that you see in the parliament, buying off those MPs. And I think these MPs even passed this budget, knowing that somehow, somewhere, this money will come back. That is the money you see helping the mushrooming of arcades, etc. It is really understandable for me. It's really understandable. Then the justification that was given recently when we pushed against corruption in Uganda, tough. They said, you people, you have to understand that we condemn the thieves that take out the money, but those who are investing the money here, I think that is good corruption. And that was spearheaded by my father, the president, and Andrew Mwenda. So Peterson, you could vaccinate yourself against politics if you're as truthful as you. I know you're a good man who likes truth and who likes things in black and white, but you have to learn to live in this sinful world by all means. Others, what do you have to say about the budget before we go into other issues? Yes, any other person? Before I rant further.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I would like to ask, what is our main activity, main economic activity from which we obtain resources, or where we obtain earning? What is our production scale? What are we putting on the market?
On paper, Uganda claims agriculture.
But also to answer Peter is
Yes.
the service industry.
Yes, and the service
Yeah,
industry.
the
Yes.
service industry. Now, the money that we collect, which is okay, now they're saying if we collected 30 trillion, you find that like half of that is the one generated from your pay. I think pay as you earn collects about 4 trillion. Then there's the value added tax, which collects about 7 or 8. Then the import duties, the money that comes in from trade is about 11. Then we also export some agricultural products like coffee. We also get some money from there. Then also tourism. So those are the things that we can say. Mainly is service industry.
Yeah. So no, but is service industry reliable, which can give you that arrogance of having a 72 trillion with an economy of Uganda?
And you see, first get out from the 72 trillion, because 72 trillion is
Is a
like
hoax.
the express penalty system tickets.
Uh-huh.
We are now talking about realistically the money that okay, if we are getting 48, where is it coming from, and what would be the sources?
The sure sources.
The sure sources. By the meanwhile, also one thing that we also, when you look at this budget here, the taxpayer is paying that is going to pay 37.5 trillion. Now, the same economy where you're getting this 37.5 trillion, you are again getting out 10, it was the one of domestic financing, it was about 11.3 trillion, because these treasury bills are bought by individuals or even by institutions like NSSF. So you're again taking away that money from the economy. Now, on top of that, the people that you're supposed to have paid, you're not paying them. You are still refinancing their debt. You're like, you first hold on, I'll pay you next year. So are you seeing how you're creating a vacuum in the economy? You're sucking out all the money from the economy. Now that is
and expanding the debt.
Yes, and expanding the debt. And you're using that money for what? For consumption.
For consumption.
Because you're getting that money and you're spending.
To consume 32 trillion, this is too much, really. It is too much.
36.
We should 36.
Half of the budget.
36 trillions is too much, really. For Uganda, I think we are eating more than we can plant and harvest. It is a
so now
consumer
that's why Peter's question, what are we producing, now comes into play, because there's nothing much that we're producing, but then we're eating, we're over consuming.
That we want to us then. Then the other thing, Peterson, that I wanted to communicate is the nature of African countries' debt. You see, normally politicians will come on air and tell you that if the United States has got the biggest debt, but United States has got a reserve bank, and from a layman perspective, it has the ability to print the dollars which are in its debt. But how can a country that doesn't have the ability to even print and doesn't even have that wealth in gold reserves, how can it borrow beyond its capacity and have a debt that does not look like itself? The problem with Africa, we have debts that do not look like us. Isn't that a problem? How can you?
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, the 11 trillions, which all qualify to be debts. First of all, my question to the Ugandan leaders is, who are those rich Ugandans who have got the 11 trillion so that you can borrow from them? Number one.
The banks.
The banks.
Most of it comes from banks.
But are they Ugandan banks or they are foreign banks?
They are foreign banks.
Is that internal?
But you see where they
internal, because it is borrowed from here, inside here.
Yeah.
Papers are signed from here, but of course the money comes from elsewhere.
Rutembana is right to vaccinate himself against politics, because you guys, everything is just a fraud and lying.
Rutembana, go to heaven.
So Rutembana is a good man. So he sees the corruption in religion and he dismisses religion. When he sees the corruption in politics, he dismisses. Wait until he sees the corruption in marriage. Anyway, so what we are saying. So number one, so you're going to borrow internally, which is actually not internal. It is internal in courts. Then you're going to borrow another 11 from outside. I think that is too much. Yeah, sure. Continue. Finally, and then we go to other issues.
No, me had finished. I'd finished my part.
Okay. Okay, so that's it. Yes, you wanted to come in before we go to, or you want to go direct to the other?
No, I have nothing useful to add on that matter.
Okay, that's all right then. Good. Now, gentlemen and lady, we now turn our eyes to the mushrooming of political parties. Recently, my man Matthias Impuga launched his. I like the man. I'm a supporter of DF. I'm also a supporter of Anti, that of Mugisha Muntu. And of course, you know, my father is President Museveni, but I belong with these two guys. So he launched his DF, the Democratic Front, and that DF has got how do I call it? The DA. The pressure, is it a pressure group or what? Or an alliance? It has got that DA, Democratic Alliance, but now the official party is Democratic Front. I guess I got that right. And then my other brother, is it Muhammad Nsereko with the Ecological Party?
Yes, Ecological Party of Uganda.
Ecological Party of Uganda. Muhammad Nsereko has launched one. It seems Honorable Muhammad Nsereko is not coming back to Kampala. He wants now to take that route. Okay, that also came up. Then PPF, People's, is it People's Patriotic Front?
Yes.
Yeah, the PPF, those are the section of the FDC of Katonga, the typical Besigye 101 are also in the process of registering theirs. I think they got the certificate. They get the certificate, but they have not yet registered. They did? Okay. So yeah, so they're also working on that, and the president there is Honorable Elias Lukwago. There is another party. I've forgotten its name, but it's by there's another guy there who also has like another small party. But we're talking about these parties because these have got some significant elements that we know. Ecological Party of Uganda, Honorable Muhammad Nsereko, Democratic Front, Honorable Matthias Impuga, Abed Wanika, Mbwate Kamwa, and quite a number of other legislators there. Joyce Bagala chickened out and stayed in Noop, but she's Impuga leaning, we all know. Then the PPF is also on the right. So do you think that this is the solution to Ugandan politics? And what do you think about this whole development?
Kenya Raymond first.
Yes.
Before we
The
take him
political
to the
referendum, are you there? You see, when there are religious matters, his microphone is always on, but politics.
Reverend tatugamba okusiiba.
No. Bob, Mr. Muyanja, you're welcome. You've missed the budget segment, but of course, you'll get the recordings. You know, you are.
Mulina okusiiba kubanga
Reverend, continue.
omusajja yamanyidde. Anyway, I'm in transit. So abita yange okuparticipating nga mumpulira ndi ku kkubo.
Tukuwulira gendera.
Emmotoka yange eri mu garage sorry era onkozesezza boda.
Ebibiina binaayamba Uganda, binaayamba enkyukakyuka.
Ate kati lwaki budget mugiddukako maawe?
Budget tugimaze.
Mugimaliriza. Ebibiina tebigenda kuyamba Uganda. Now. I don't think that is. I don't think we are yet there. That's my personal analysis. I don't think we are yet there. I don't think the ground, the political arena is tailored to benefit or to cater for Ugandans to enjoy. We are not only supposed to duty. We have a civic duty to participate in political processes. But then I think we are also meant to enjoy the participation. So ebibiina nga byo byali badde nti they provide a platform for a Ugandan to not only participate, which is I can put in quotes, because participation. You've been in trainings where they give you a certificate of participation. Participation is that just that. But you could as well be inconsequential in your participation. So I think Ugandans, for this to make sense, or kuyamba, we providing a platform to not only participate, but to enjoy, even to a consequential level. Participation yo eyongerako ki kubanga nze nina emyaka 43 atandika okulonda nga sinaweza 18 kubanga munaye bangakyali baleeta okulonda wali kwa pisto twali tuli 16-17 ne batwanguya yanguyawo ne tulonda mangu awo ate enzonda sinze nzekka. I'm not the only one who voted before making 18. Abasinga bwe baali, and it still happens. But what I'm trying to say is that I have seen elections in Uganda, and if political parties are coming in to participate inconsequentially, then that's all it will be. That's all it will be. However, I would imagine that they would be coming in to participate to a consequential level nti balina kyebongerako balina kyebakyusa. Otherwise we lie. We are not a multi-party political dispensation.
Okay.
So that's my thinking. I wouldn't condemn them. Maybe these are baby steps towards the dream,
Yes.
and I think we can say that's it. But the current atmosphere is known, designed to bring about what you're asking.
Nga tonaba kugenda bakubuuziza ekibuuzo nti ani yakulagira okulondera walonda ani ng'okyali muto?
Nga nkyali muto kino ngenda kyogerera
walonda biro age bakuba accusing okulonda biro age.
Ekyobola ne participation yange yali inconsequential.
Okay.
Ekitegeeza nti ffe mu biseera ebyo ffenna twali tulagirwa kulonda Museveni. Abazadde baffe nga tugamba tulina okulonda Museveni. Byali byampaka nga tebirimu na kuteesa.
Ye mutuufu.
Mu biseera ebyo twakulamu nga tebatulagira nga tulina okweroboleza ne twesalirawo.
So tweyanziza ssebo.
Ngoba mangu kiti.
Kankuleke ssebo kubanga njagala abalala bajje mukama wange.
Ngoba mangu.
Thank you, Reverend. Jethro, do you think political parties are a solution? And what are the weaknesses and the strengths? Do you think the political parties have made an impact to the change? Have Ugandans benefited from many political parties, or how do you think the movement system was better off for Ugandans than the multi-party system?
If you ask me, political parties are of no consequence in this country, unless you are looking at it from the business side of things. The reason they are not here to cause any change is because even those who are seeking change cannot even agree amongst themselves. Okay? That is one. Two, the reason I say they are all the same, the opposition and the government. Mao, so-called DP, has just been re-elected president.
By all means.
Has been re-elected president. Akina, UPC, re-elected. Other party. Museveni, of course, we know the answer. So what is different?
That is democracy, because all the things that you've mentioned were conducted democratically. What do you think?
Then what problem do you have against Museveni? Because he has also been here democratically. Yeah. He can say, I've gone through 6 elections. What will you say about that?
In the party of the president does not even have a contestant.
Yeah, so for me, it's a joke. Political parties are a joke, but I understand in a poor country like ours, people need to survive. There's iPod money coming. You have to be in a political party to share it. You saw the amendment to the rule. And by the way, even those who will not have MPs will be invited to the table to talk according to the new amendment. So you won't necessarily need to have an MP in parliament. You still get money as long as you agree to come to the eating table.
The political leader could even be the only MP in the parliament, like Basari.
Exactly. Okay. And they don't even have to have an MP. As long as you're a registered political party and you agree to come to iPod, there's money. So for me, this is just a money-making venture. So there's no difference between the opposition and government in that regard.
But how did things go wrong? Because politicians are saying that they took the template of Ghana and this iPod thing of multi-party system and making sure they sustain that multi-party system. It is the Dutch that actually sponsored it. It worked effectively and efficiently in Ghana. But it is still, of course, the Dutch still think that it is working also in Uganda, and they still bring that money. Why are these Westerners still pouring in their money in things that are not working? Because in Uganda, it looks the way you guys have demonstrated it. In Kenya, political parties are justifications for tribal leaders. So what happened?
Because the Dutch and other white people have never come here to solve our problems for us. They come here with their own reasons, which is not necessary to help Ugandans. So they can pretend about it, they can pretend to help, but they're not really helping us.
Okay.
That's my take.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bob, you want to come in there? How are things in NUP, in National Unity Platform? How is the democracy there?
They held an illegal delegates conference yesterday.
And there was tear gas within the political headquarters. And I think that was unfair. How can the police attack a political party headquarters? And then I think, was that necessary?
Yeah, so I think to start from there, I also saw the videos and it was really, really
Lwaki mumenya
heartbreaking.
amateeka Bob? Lwaki mumenya amateeka? Naye ate
Ate twamenya mateeka ki?
kubanga
Kubanga
obuzibu bwennyina omuntu amenya amateeka mu kikomera ki naye bamulumba. Anyway, continue.
no, naye ate mateeka ki ge twabali tumenya mu kikomera?
Bagambye illegal delegates conference.
Kati be bamanya illegal delegates conference nga tuli waffe mu office.
Ekyo kye nayagadde
This
okumanya nange.
is the thing which perturbs me. Kati gomanyi bwe tubeera ewaffe nga toggalidde mu office mu premises zaffe eziri official tukola meetings zaffe ate n'otugamba mbu tulirigo mu meeting.
Omusiraamu yalumbye abakatoliki mu kikomera kyabwe n'abakuba mu bali ebizi.
You know, so really it is just shows you that it's not gonna be easy for NUP especially. I don't know how PAF is forming themselves, but it's very clear that for NUP it's not going to be an easy ground. That every activities. I saw another video where they were plucking off. I think Museveni is going to Bunyolo or where, and they were the NRA people were going on every street plucking off anything, any poster related to NUP and Bobby Wine. They were plucking it off in broad daylight with some security people guarding them. So this is the environment.
Don't add the security there. You just said that they plucked off the posters, but not with the security people guarding them.
Now, if the videos were showing, if the video was showing men in uniform, making sure that these guys are not intercepted in what they are doing. So what is that? So anyway, to get back to your question. So I'm also Jet has really put it very well. It's basically all about money making, because I was there thinking you are Mpuga, and you have issues with no Bobby where you are, and you very well know there's another group that is already it has its formation on ground. With roots, with branches. This I'm talking about Semujunganda and areas Lukwago, Besije, and Co. Okay, therefore they are also having their party which they are forming, and it's more like you are instead of going for something new, where you're going to start from scratch and you're pulling members here and there. Why can't you, if your genuine call is to oppose? Okay, you've not agreed with Bobby Wine. Why can't you easily join with the likes of the people you are with in Subi, who are already having something going on, so you don't completely. So as Jet said, they are looking that law which they are passing, which will make sure that as long as you have a political organization and
but Subi members are part of the DF.
Are part of the what?
Some SUBI members are part of the DF, and then others like Lukwago are part of the PPF. So they are scattered. That is okay. That's the Uganda strategy.
This is the thing which I'm telling you. It's exactly what I was saying, that why can't you guys come together already and either you join the PF group or the PF join. I mean, like, because it was not necessary for, again, Mpuga to still split with the same Jews and Eliases
But it
after
was your
splitting.
leader. It was your leader, you and Impanga, Bobby Wine, who refused actually to be given a card by the DP. So he started that kind of
Anyway,
yes.
anyway, in the end, it's all about money making. That is their strategy. So really, bibina tebigenda kutuyamba.
Are you saying
Everyone is
Noop
playing.
is also after money making? Is Noop inclusive or Noop is?
No, I'm not saying Noop is inclusive, because what I'm saying is that always there will be a big party, a big party like, let's say, NRM, and an opposition party. Okay, so I'm looking at those options. Like, so if we are going on splitting, I mean, UPC is there. I'm saying they're after the money. FDC was there, and I'm saying they're after the money. But the current mushroom, you talked about the current mushrooming, and in we will have almost 100 VVNAs. Unnecessary. Already Noop is there as the leading opposition at the moment. Okay, there are other parties which are also, they are by name Mirandira Jabu. So why do you go on ahead again to start something completely new when you already have some existing space where you can join? So if you disagree with Noop, okay, you can join another.
But Muyanja, you and Impanga, together with your who is this man from Butambara? You chased away these people.
Which is fine. You can
did
disagree.
not
I'm
give them
saying,
a platform to reconcile.
did they give us a chance also?
What did you expect?
So anyway, in the end, it's all about them trying to make money. I think I like to know Bobby Wine has been re-elected, which some people can say as dictatorial, but this is his second term. Okay, so for me, I don't mind. That whichever process it was, okay.
So it was democratic.
Obaba Mulonzenga is unopposed. All I'm just saying that this is his second term, so I cannot blame to say that, oh, Asavinze, all these terms and all that. No, he had the first term, which I think went well. Many of his colleagues believe he's still the man to lead. Okay, so they are giving him a second term. Segona has come out clear and said, oh, we agreed with my young brother Bobby Wine that once he leads his second term, the term with Dako again Segona. So I mean, like, so I'm not castigating, and I don't know if again Bobby Wine can come back next time or whatever. But for now, I'm not going to pinpoint him and say, okay, he's also like Museveni, because this is his second term, and we'll see what happens next.
So he's just like Mao, because Mao is also his second term. That's understandable.
Yes. Naye Mao mwabaddemu n'ebikonde, mwabaddemu n'abacomplaininga, mwabaddemu police. Okay.
Let us just end.
Tewalabye okulonda bwe kwabadde nti babusitudde n'obusitula ne babubalira mu hoteri munda ne babujja.
Rutemana, please come in. Rutemana, come in, please. What do you think about the politics of Uganda?
What I can say is you see, any political party, I think what we have witnessed in Uganda is that it just needs to have power. Because I think we have had two political parties that have had power, that is UPC and NRM. So the one that has been on the opposition side at the time of UPC was DP, and then under NRM it was FDC and then NUP. But then you also
as a historian, you're not going to recognize the Prime Minister. Is it Ben Chiwanuka? Who is that guy?
And DP, because that is DP. That is DP.
So it is the only political party that has registered a peaceful transition of power in the history of Uganda.
Yeah. So now the political environment that we have right now is very tough, because when you talk about political parties, there's the Museveni factor. One, FDC split, they're all blaming Museveni. Because remember, even FDC first split under Muntu, when Muntu lost to Amuriat. and they are saying Muntu was a More. Then we come to Noop. Noop also split because of the 500 million. That was also saying that Museveni had a hand in it. Then FDC finally split because of the money they are
over 300 million.
Then, of course, now you have DP where the president is a minister. Then you have UPC where the wife of the president is also a minister in Museveni government. So the political parties have been operating under a very, very shrewd politician who has power. So unlike the previous political parties like UPC, which was against DP, also, of course, the political environment by then was a bit different. But Obote maybe was not shrewd as Museveni is. Or the Obotes, for them, they could not allow DP to they actually, most of the DP people were being killed. If they get to know that you're DP around the 80s, you'll be killed.
Utambana isn't shrewd, very lenient.
Okay, maybe for him it's smarter. For what Museveni has done, he has let them be. They even organized democratic so they organized democratic elections, but then somehow he has an invisible hand that influences party activities. Unlike what Obote was, because what Obote was doing was very brutal. For him, he would come, if you're DP, you're a very strong DP, they kill you or you run to exile. This guy leaves you here, he comes and sweet talks to you. And then somehow people join his government, somehow people, like in quotes, they get money. So that's the problem. And it has actually worked very perfectly for him. Me, that's the comment I can have on the political parties and the political environment now.
So for you, the shrewd politician at the helm is the problem to these political parties.
No, it's not. It's just smart, because you see, politics is all about retaining power. So he's doing it in a very smart way.
But that smartness that hurts and cripples the national growth and development, really, is that really smart? Or it does just being shrewd? I prefer the first term of shrewd.
But
The issue is, I think Utambana is saying the issue is keeping power. Whichever way you want to keep it, as long as you keep it. So
Yes,
smart, shrewdness, so he's keeping it.
I think Kyagulanyi is also picking a leaf from this shrewd guy, because Kyagulanyi was also shrewd. After he was re-elected undemocratically, then there was chaos within the fence. Okay, now Museveni has got sons and grandsons. Anyway, Professor Serubide, do you want to lament? Because you are, politically, in politics, you're always lamenting. Before you go to the mighty 17 day. Professor Serubide, are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Because because Uganda is not driven on ideology, yet political parties must be ideology driven. Political parties have little to save or to deliver Uganda from its suffering. Because and to me, I've always said that if it's not monarchy, then we had better go back to one party movement, the movement system. During the movement system, I was still a child in the 90s and early 2000s. I saw Uganda better, far much better than what it is now. I get evidence from the way LC, by then it was called RC. You could feel power and authority where we were without guns. You would be invited. If your father were invited to the RC, hey, You know, so we felt Mr. Museveni, we felt a Messiah in Mr. Museveni and everything. And immediately we denigrated into political parties. It was the death of the vision that Mr. Museveni had born. So in a country where politics is the most highly paying job, and where most of us dwell on being employed, in other words, we rely on employeeship, and politics is the most highly paying job. We shall have more than 100 political parties, unless the Constitution says otherwise, which I doubt it is, or it is the case.
Interesting.
So for me,
Professor, you are hopeless. That's what you're telling us.
You know, in Isaiah chapter 6, there is
ekigambo hopeless nga tewali kikozesa.
Ekigambo hopeless kya Luzungu kitegeeza omuntu atalina ssuubi.
waliwo olunyiriri luli mu Isaaya.
Olunyiriri toluleeta lubi. Ogamba mukaaga essula olunyiriri olusooka.
Nti naye wayi naye kale naye kyegamba
For those of you who are not conversant with Isaiah 6:1, it says that in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. In other words, the hopeless professor is saying that a certain Uzziah must die so that we can see the Lord.
Hallelujah.
agambyewo ne haleluya omuwulidde so omusajja
musiru talina kutegeera musajja bwagala taata wange afe tajja kufa kati. Now thank you very much. Sebutinde, can you talk? The resident minister of tourism of iTiS, Sebu.
It's been a long time, but nice to catch up here. You know, always very good to hear brains discussing nothing in most cases. For example, this topic.
Sebo, obaddewo eyo gy'ojja ebivumo byonna ebyo. Genda mu maaso Sebo.
olwaleero nga muli bakambwemu.
No,
omusajja
I'm
ansomedde.
just wondering,
Yes,
how
Sebo.
can we start discussing political parties here in Uganda? And all of us, you know, are put to think, you know, to use our heads. As in now, especially now. Do we have a political party that we can say this is a political party? Somebody help me with
NRM.
Where are the headquarters of NRM?
At
Kyaddondo.
Kyaddondo. Yes, Kyaddondo.
Ate Kyambogo.
Kyambogo is the mobilization office.
What is that? The secretariat? You know, and we are talking about a political party that is in power for the last 40 years.
Yes.
Are you sure we can call it a political party?
Are you suggesting that a political party must have structures like that of NUP? If you're looking for structures, we even have NUP.
No, we didn't discuss about NUP. Now we.
Anti-structures onoonya ojerega akayumba ka NRM akali wali ku secretariat ate nga tulina oguzimbe gaggadde
mbuziza
waliwo akayumba
structures zembadde njogerako nkiyite ntya nti is it functional? I mean, the whole thing.
It is functional. NRM has structures on each and every village. 60,000 villages. NRM has got structures there. 10 people. 10 or 30 people.
30.
30.
Chobo ino manya mu Uganda, we cannot discuss about political parties. And I think you are just wasting time trying to imitate what we can't even even try.
Nope, that does not have any structure on any village. It has got delegates. It had delegates.
From nowhere, Balonze, Balonze, Chagulanyi becomes the president, and these people are very okay with it.
Then
Museveni it is not okay.
Mao,
it is not okay. Mao, it is not okay. Because I mean, never be strong with police, never be to already. You know, like there is nothing. You people, let us not discuss political parties. Thank you.
Mpozi mukuru Mau.
You wanted to say something. Mau tuleke nawe.
Hey, on political parties.
And on any other thing, we can even go to the PDM now. Go to wherever, because we now have like 30 minutes now to handle the rest. Yes.
On the PDM, I saw the question that you had asked. You had asked now. Of course, economic growth is different from economic development. Economic growth, it just looks at increase in GDP. Today, when the Minister of Finance was reading the GDP, he said our GDP is $61.3 billion. How we have grown. So next year, when it increases to 64, now that one we call it economic growth. We are just looking at the GDP. While economic development, you're looking at the well-being of the population. What is the level of education? Has it improved? The health services, generally the social services around the population, the life expectancy. So now that is what we call economic development. In fact, some countries that are developed, their economic growth is you find that like the US's economic growth is like 2%. Or 1.5% for these European countries, because for them they already developed when they are already developed, so the curve is now flat. Now, when we come to what does PDM do? Me, I'm just going to first, just like in 1 minute, just a brief history. Yes. You see, Uganda's economy was doing very well after the British left. Then comes in 1966 when politics started taking another turn, things started changing. Then Amin comes in, Amin chases the Indians. Now the Indians were the custodians of this economy, because any economy you're looking at production, job creation and all that. So these guys owned the entire economy. So when the Indians are chased in 1972, for all the 8 years that Amin was here, the economy started going down. Then the 1979 war that brought in back, that removed Amin, also affected the economy so badly. And Museveni now starts fighting again. So from you can say from 1972 up to 1986, the economy was really bleeding. Now, when the guy comes in 1986, he comes in with economic reforms. If people who are old enough here remember things like the currency reforms, where you take 1 million and then they give you 7,000. So he comes in with those reforms, things like privatization, because they are trying to rejuvenate the economy, which had died for close to 10 years, for close to 15 years. So he comes in with these things here, but then the economy was really still not doing well. Now, around the 1990s, he comes up with what we call the Poverty Eradication Action Plan, or PEP. I think this one must have had it. And this had various items in it. And one of the things that was very popular was the universal primary education, because the literacy rates were very high. And the economists thought that maybe the problem is that Ugandans are not educated. So they brought in the UPE, I think around 1997. And then Museveni started bringing in what we call the affirmative action programs, things like Entandukwa, things like Bonabaga. Okay, Bonabaga is recent, but things like Entandukwa. Now this is where PDM comes in. But also one thing that we also have to realize is that we have to know that Museveni of 1986 to around 2000 is different from the Museveni after 2001. That Museveni around that time, maybe he had good intentions for this economy because of the political environment by then. So we can say that the programs by then, the things that they're trying to do in the economy, the restructuring of the economy, were, of course, people will argue against things like privatization, things like...
for me, I consider privatization the greatest evil to our economy.
Okay, yes. Some people will say it was bad, some people will say it was, but he was trying to do certain things, open up the economy. And so that time
he got the problem wrong.
Okay, but by the way, remember now one thing that remember Museveni was mentored, or he looked up to who? Nyerere, Julius Nyerere. In fact, if you guys remember a picture that he took with Nyerere's wife, that was when, like 2 years ago, he was humble. He had humbled himself like this, like a boy. Our arrogant Museveni was humble before Nyerere's wife. The guy was mentored, and now Nyerere was a socialist, a communist to say. So Museveni liked that guy, even the way he used to dress at first, those Kaunda suits, and he wanted to do the economy like
the guy was his idol.
He was his idol. So the Museveni of 1986 and he comes into power. He's looking up to Nyerere, but then these IMFs and the World Bank's amplest him, and then he finally liberalizes the economy. But still, the Nyerere in him does not stop. That's why you see these affirmative actions keep coming in, and these things were for a good reason, if I may say. The poverty education action plans, the UPEs, the Myoga, because there's a lot of poverty, and then he thought that these affirmative actions were going to bring in better things. But things changed after 2001 up to now. I still believe that those affirmative actions, which were for transforming Ugandans out of poverty, changed the course, and now they are political programs. So these things are put, unfortunately, these things are put there to gather political capital. Because one, which people vote for Museveni, the people who vote for Museveni, who like him, are those
citizens.
And for them, if you give them such things, PDM, Myoga, and Tandikwa, what, they will be happy, they will continue voting for him. But personally, I don't think that affirmative actions can transform an economy. I think that like now, let me just talk like a capitalist. You'd rather stimulate the economy through. Now we have a business person here, Tom Ariong. So instead of giving 1 million to his village mates in the village, how about if you reduce taxes that Tom pays, or reduce the interest that Tom pays in the bank? Tom expands.
Or you give Tom the machines that he needs.
Because if you give Tom the machines that he needs, you're still handled. For us, we want you to make sure you reduce the taxes for Tom. To make sure you reduce the interest rates, so that Tom can go and borrow this money from the bank at a lower interest rate. Then Tom will be able to buy these machines for himself, and he's going to employ his village mates that are poor. Because you are
the economist here who was arguing that the taxes are fair. So, and now I think something has changed now after your
transformation.
And
But no,
after your vaccination.
No, I'm trying to make a comparison because you see, if you're injecting 1 trillion, in
Yes.
PDM every financial year, how about if you reduce the amount of taxes that is being paid by Tom Young in the bank, so that he can buy more machines and then he employs more people? Wouldn't that be a more transformational intervention compared to PDM? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Reverend, olowooza nti PDM tayambye enkulaakulana bannayuganda bonna bagaggawale abantu ne bagaggawala. PDM waliwo n'ekintu ekirala send akaawu, waliwo send akaawu ne wajjawo send egooti. Ebintu byonna na president abigezezzaako atambudde n'ebisawo bya ssente. Reverend, mwagala ki? Endiga zo zaagala ki okulaakulana?
Reverend babawadde emmotoka ennene.
Reverend bawadde n'emmotoka mukyuse.
Lindamu katono.
Yatugambye emmotoka yo yafudde. Emmotoka yo yafudde yo president yakuwa.
Mzee kakana x-ray gyevuga yange zenagyegulira. Akati semusobola gamba nti abantu tebagaggawadde. Actually abantu bayagala bagaggawale bo actually bagaggawadde. Sente ezo alina abantu be bayagala bagaggawale kati yeefuula ayagala oziweereza bali abawansi n'azikwasa abantu be bayagala bagaggawale ne bagenda wansi ne babatira ne bawaako wali obutinitini bo naye ne bagaggawala because the truth is there are people who have become wealthy and stinking rich out of those projects zonna kuva Genesis nga bw'ogiwadde all those projects. There are people who have become wealthy and these are loyal cadres. Yeah. And so, in fact, to sustain himself, he has to enrich his cadres. Concerning digital number plates. How do we have a proprietor in our country who has been doing number plates for us for all those years? I know experience to get a market here. Then we took callers, we have to look for someone to know of all that we can look for a service provider. No, locally. If if you cease to be useful as a cadre or a member of the economy, but what never better useful to propagating the movement as it is. Basi no jongera okubanga ogibujirira etambule bulungi nga tewaliko ki bajja kuwa ssente ogenda ogabira abaavu ng'ogaggawale abaavu naye batagaggawala as long as ogaggawala. So actually the truth is, Pedson, the capitalism you're thinking about happens, but it does not happen formally. It is not the formal capitalism that you would want, where systems are put in place to enhance the economy so that no one wants to sente. No, in this case, someone pretends as if they want to help the poor, only to enrich backcarders around him. That makes him stronger, by the way, if you didn't realize. It does make him very strong. It is my people don't want me to go. He knows which people he's talking about. There are those people who are between him and the Mutu Awansi, whose survival depends on his longevity.
And I think, Reverend, you raise a very pertinent issue, covering actually even our item 4. Abantu abali wakati w'abantu wamu n'omukulembeze alina bye yeetaaga. Abantu abo by'emu ku bizibu bya Uganda. Abalowooza nti basobola okugaggawala at the expense of the majority citizens. Kati bo ne encouraging nga president mu makuba amakyamu kubanga bo bagafunamu. Abantu abo by'emu ku bizibu bya Uganda. Ndowooza it is a civic, it should be a civic responsibility okuboola abantu abo abali wakati waffe abantu n'abakulembeze babrokers abo bantu bakyamu nnyo. Sebo aliyonga oba ogiramu mukama wange.
Nsooka na kibuuzo Sebo. President ye atalaba nti waliwo abali wakati we n'abantu balina byayagalamu ye si kizibu.
ye olwedde kyekizibu kyetwagala okudiiringa nakyo.
Tumuloga afe. Now, gestures z'omukulembeze ez'okukulaakulanya bannayuganda teziva mu will nnungi, tesiza good will, teziva mu intentions nnungi from him. Mbadde ndowooza mpadde omukisa okwogera ensonga yange, bw'oba oyagala kuginjogerera ngamba nkuleke oginjogerere.
Wano si gwa kumisrepresentinga balala, goli mu birowoozo bya mukulu olyokugaye
tewali muntu amisrepresentinga president wano. Omuntu yenna agamba nti omunnayuganda bw'omuwa akakadde akamu ku parish level oba omukulaakulanyiza kya ebigendererwa bya munguba talina intentions nnungi eri abantu, kubanga ensonga y'okukulaakulanya n'okugaggawaza abantu si ya ssente wabula ya mindset. Now omuntu atali ready kuyamba bannayuganda bakyuse endowooza yaabwe naye nga abawa ssente kakadde kamu bubiri busatu, abantu bawa akakadde nga balina ebizibu ntoko, fiizi, misolo, biki, omuntu oyo talina bigendererwa birungi. Omuntu oyo bw'abanga ayagala okukulaakulanya abantu, kubanga abantu tebagenda kukulira wamu bonna uniformly, bagenda kulondobwamu, abamu bakule abamu bakuze abalala, ateekewo embeera ne incentives ezireetera abantu okukola nga bakola bulungi, nga bawa emisolo nga bawa emisolo egiri appropriate. Naye omuntu alina ebigendererwa by'okukwata ssente aziwe abantu n'atambula n'ebisawo bya ssente ng'ayagala abantu bagaggawale abajje mu bwavu, omuntu ebigendererwa tebiba birungi ssebo. So tewali muntu amisrepresenting anybody, no. Bw'oba oyagala okulaakulanya abantu, teekawo embeera eziyamba abantu okubaako ne bye beekolera, kubanga bannayuganda bakozi. Museveni yekayekaye abanafuyiza n'abazza ku boda babadde bakozi nga basobola okukola, naye kati trend eriwo ya muntu kubeera go between, kubeera kayungirizi owa buli kimu. Yensonga lwaki olaba nti bw'aba ayagala atuuke ku bantu waliwo ali wakati we n'abantu, ekyo kikole bukole. Era nga Reverend babadde agamba nti abantu abali wakati we n'abantu bali aba wansi, kubanga abantu abali wakati we n'abantu awansi basobola okumutuusaako abantu ba wansi, kati ye aba akozesa bano bagaggawale asobole okutuuka ku bali. Tewali muntu amisrepresentinga mulala.
Sebo tweyanziza ssebo. Ensonga yetegerekese bulungi okuwa abantu ssente. Tewaliiwo nsi ekulaakulana ng'abantu bababuwi ssente. Tewaliiwo nsi ekulaakulana ng'abantu tebabateeseteese kukola. Tewaliiwo nsi abantu bakulaakulana nga tebalina structures mu bakulaakulanira. Sebo ensonga yetegerekese bulungi. Era ekya misrepresentation kitegerekeka nti to misrepresentinga president olabira ku bikolwa bye. Ebikolwa bye ebimukiikirira. Omuntu yenna awo obuwe ekintu kye bakola obukozi, then abeera talina bigendererwa birungi. Sebo nkutegedde. Sebutinde.
Yes, sebo. Nayanziza okumpa omukisa.
Protestive vote kye ki mwami Sebutinde?
Badde njagala kusooka kubuuza kibuuzo kya operation wealth creation.
Ekyo kibuuze Professor Serubida akiddemu kwali wuuyo.
Operation wealth creation. Results zaayo ziriwa mu bantu. Era ekiruubirirwa ekya bagita
PDM si PDM kirala bannange.
Ate mpulira bagamba PDM buli muntu agiraga simanyi PDM biki.
Oyogeranga bano baliyo ng'abanuupu mbu PDM y'abano bakayungirizi. Kyava otugamba.
No, mbadde neebuuza, neebuuza. Ekiruubirirwa kyayo ky'abantu ki? for example
kyakulaakulanya
njagala
bantu
kuwa
naye abantu
example njagala kuwa example mbuulire ekituufu baliwo abalina okulaakulana okimanyi nti bagiyise PDM sorry PDM okimanyi erina abagirondoola abasukka mu 4 buli we bagigabye abantu abo balina PDM neri nayo bagiyita PDM abagigoberera bano 4
abagigoberayo ebeera PDM.
Okay, ngenda mbitegeera kakati bano abagigoberera bali 4 buli muntu afuna akakadde
PDM
okugigoberera
akakadde ke bagoberera
anti bano abagoberera buli muntu afuna mmeka
Lutembana alabika abimanyi ebintu bino bafuna mmeka bano omukozi wa gavumenti balina standard PDM
per night it's 120
dollars.
Bali bameka?
Per night is 120. Mutwalo 12.
Emitwalo 12. Basukka mu 4 tubale 5 tubeere ekibalo kitwangwire.
Kabeere kakadde.
Bagigoberera bagenda gigaba wiiki eno wiiki eri bali wali bagaba akakadde. Nsaba munziremu operation wealth creation kino sigenda kibuuza kino ekyabano abagoberera kaso nnyonnyodde egondi munziremu kiri eri ndyoke njira
tojja kudda weeraba tottawaanyi sebo basebo
munyambe
olwanyisa enteekateeka za gavumenti ate oyagala kudda okudda ki?
Sirwanyisa nteekateeka za gavumenti
mukulu Sebutinde
Profesa Serubidde tuwe ekirowoozo kye kisembayo.
Nsaba nkwongereko kino ssebo.
Sebo.
Omukulu Sebutinde abadde ampadde olukusa ate ng'obudde bubadde bulwe ssebo.
Obudde bubadde bwange.
Anti ogudde olubege, moderator ogudde olubege, olina sayidi kw'oli. Kyembadde ngezaako okugamba nti wano wenkolera wano e Bweyogerere wayiseewo I think omwezi gumu bano abasako ez'abavubuka simanyi bocha welding biki bajja wano naye nga buli sako bagiwa obukadde 20 buli mwaka naye abantu wano benalabako wano abatwala sente z'obukadde 20 buli mwaka abasako eya wano mulimu chairman mulimu vice we mulimu n'abalala nga 2 abava eri ku headquarters naye nga bagendera sente za sako mbu abantu basobole okwewola beekulaakulanye.
Ankuwa information Reverend yatugambye nga tonaba kujja wano nti president alina abantu bayagala bagaggawale naye si be bannayuganda be tulowooza ndowooza be bw'oyogera kati.
Anti gwe obadde owakana mbadde njala kwongerako bwongezi.
Nze nawakanye ddi gwe wanyuma
anti ogambye ndi mukuba gavumenti.
Kyekyo.
Kati Mwami Jethro Ssebo olina kyoyogerako tuwunzike tomulekera awo taata tweyanze.
Atandike n'ekibuuzo kyange nziremu.
Aleete ensonga yeewunzika ne Serubidde musule bulungi. Mwami Jethro Ssebo.
Abasajja ba Nuupu batusibyeko akanyanga.
Bakutaayiza.
Tom yabadde mu delegates conference eyabbye obululu bwagumu.
Abadde wano Makerere Kavule leero teyakoze.
Bakoze delegates conference eri abakulembeze abatali mu constitution. Tom oli mudde wange.
Naye nga muli bamunguuba mudisikasinga Tom wano.
Oyogere naawe Tom.
Lwaki mwogera erinnya eryo?
Gwe Tom yeko wa Nuupu mu nsi
nno kye ŋŋamba ndi bakuyise kwogera nsonga oyogera linnya lya muntu kiki?
Nsonga yange Ssebo. Njogera nsonga yange ekwata ku Tom. Anyway, ebya PDM gundi abyogedde bulungi PDM byonna byakulya buli ssente. Tewali makulu. Actually twali twogera ku political parties mu beginning. The reason why it's in a political party because politics of a commercial. Nsonga za manyansimbi okuzimba oluguudo mu kitundu it is easier okugaba omuceere ne soda ne bakuwa obululu. Bano bazimbira oluguudo w'eddwaliro bakirala. So byonna byakulya ssente tugume tetusenya tugamba wano twetaaga emyaka 5 kukyusa ebintu bino katugume.
Yakyogera. Kale bassebo. Professor olina akagambo kamu tugende.
Yes, senga tulina engeri gye tuyinza okuzza omwoyo gwa Mwami Museveni gwe yajja nagwo gwe twalabako nga tukyali baana bato mu 9 awo ne mu 12 engeri gye tuyinza okuguzza mu ggwanga lyaffe lino.
Information Peter.
Tobanga oyogera ogamba nti
Peter, information.
Moderator sebo musule bulungi mweraba abasajja.
Information Peter moderator nga tanaba kudduka. Omwoyo gwa Museveni gwe yajja nagwo gwe gwalina kati guli mu mitendera kati gukuze tegukyukanga gwe gumu.
Abasajja bannange. Moderator sebo galawo program mweraba. Kafunyo, kasajja kafunyo.
Abasajja ba nuupu.
Nange tomunga mukambwe.
Tom mwalonze ba delegates mu constitution kijja mwakozeseza.
Naye bannange ate nawe oli mukambwe.
Ambuuza obuuza nange. Kambuuzeko.
Kambuuza kakayaye kaddemu leka akabuuze mweraba.
President wo Jethro, President wo Museveni buli bamulonda batya.
Toze mu kibuuzo Tom. Soko ndimo ekibuuzo.
Ate ekibuuzo kisobola okuddamu ekibuuzo kubanga olinga agamba nti bannuupu bakole ebyewuunyisa nga Museveni akola ebyekitumbavu.
Kati oba tebakola byewuunyisa bannange tusigale noono.
Kandi wulira Sebutinde. Ekikwogeza ebyo Sebutinde kubanga olowooza nti engatto enkadde mu owino esinga engatto empya ezivudde mu kampuni y'emu mu kkolero lyerimu. Olaba endowooza yaffe Museveni kyatukoze bubi nnyo.
Ate ogambye yajja
ebibiina 10 okumulwanyisa.
Ate byebiri ebigira ate tebyawukana ebyammwe si bipya bwe kibanga si kipya kiki kyetukaayana mugaleewo. Emagere mugaleewo.
Protest vote etegeeza ki? Simanyi tugyogeddeko protest vote.
Protest vote
etegeeza ki?
Ekisookera ddala olaba naawe ovudde gy'oli otandika okugyogerako effects zaayo zeezo.
Lwaki toddamu bibuuzo ebikubuuziddwa? Lwaki
nkuwa ansa. Nkyakuwa ansa oŋŋaana okwogera.
Ddamu ekibuuzo tugende tuve wano. Protest vote kitegeeza ki?
Omanyi bw'osanga omuntu nga yeeyamba ku kkubo nga muntu mukulu. Kyokola naawe ositama wali ne mufaanagana. Kati omuntu bw'ajja agamba nti omukulu yayigiriza omuto okweyamba ku kkubo. Protest vote yeeyo.
Tulaite okulabisa. Wala busiru bwegamba. Kwe kulabisa. Sisi wano basiru fena tuwalire ddala.
Gwe mbuulira nga jjajjaawo asobola okuba omusiru gwe n'oba mugezi nga jjajjaawo omusiru.
Nze nakitegeeredda Tom tuli mu kusiru wala mu busiru. Kale Pito bade ogamba
nti naye nze kiri ekintu kyebadde magamba simanyi something happened to Mr. Museveni. Something happened. I tell you for twakulira awo nga yakajja 1992 nga tuli mu P1 katulaba omuntu president yano naye maama oba ani yamutuga oba abazungu be bamukuba obutwa I don't know.
Sebo Peter
context
Peter kyokungubagira si kituufu. Museveni abadde bw'ati okuva ku luberyeberi omuntu eyamukuza gw'omanya Olungereza ojja kunzivuulira ekigambo kino. Kazi abantu abasoma pathology bakola batya? Kubanga byanyima yagamba nti Museveni is a pathological liar. Eyamukuza kati gwoli wano okungubagira omuntu mbu simanyi yakyuka simanyi yakola ki wa abadde bw'ati okuva ku luberyeberi.
Nze ndi omu ku balowooza nti president yakyuka bannange. Bw'ati bwe yali.
Naye ndowooza tewali agiwakanya
Of
naye nga
course,
nakino kyenjogera nakino kyenjogera fact
fact not truth. Okay. Nze ndowooza Museveni yasooka. Bw'owuliza speech za Museveni ezasooka ezo paka nga ku 94, 96 actually. Yali very idealistic.
ezasooka zaali za kiguumaaza bannayuganda beebakire ddala
naye reality bwe yamusanga nawe yakyukirawo nze bwengamba
something happened ng'ate kirabika kiri even threatening to his life.
What happened was reality.
Nothing happened. Omuntu eyanywa amata agagenda ku buko. Nothing happened. Agamulema n'agayuwa. What happened? Mutuleke nammwe. Temusiga kintu muzigo. Bamuwa amata agatwale ewa Janet. N'atuuka mu kkubo n'aganywa bali bafiiriddwa n'aganywa agamulema n'agayuwa. Kale teyagatuusa. Omuntu afaanana bw'atyo yakyuka.
naye tome
akajja kakambwemu kano
But Rutembana,
yes sir,
don't you think that Mr. Museveni was something might have happened that threatened his life and his progeny? Because I want to tell you, when we are still little in 1992, 1998, Mr. Museveni was not just a president. He was a savior. He was a deliverer. He was a Moses. All of a sudden, things change. The army used to be friendly. The police used to be friendly. They are now brutal. Everything, he was a friendly person. He meant well. We even sang songs in nursery and primary. But everything, tribe, no one even mentioned anything about tribe. Tribe, 1992, 1998, 2000. Sure. It was Uganda. We're moving. We are moving.
Naye Peter, oli student w'emboozi. Emboozi eyo mboozi ya NRM. Nti Museveni yalibadde mulungi naye abeeru. Emboozi eyo Isaiah atera okugyogera wano ne Pedison oyo. Museveni yalibadde mulungi naye abeeru. Jethro akiyita reality. Emboozi propagatinga propaganda wa NRM nti Museveni mulungi naye waliwo factors eziva ebweruwe. Tukkirize nti omuntu asobola okubeera mubi naye n'atandika nga abalowoozesa nti mulungi mumwesige mumukuumire awo n'ajjayo true colors. Gwe kennyini oli mu Kristaayo. Omanye nga Mukama waffe atugamba mu Biblia nti emisege gisobola okwambala ng'endiga. Omusege bwe gwambala ng'endiga gulabika ng'endiga, gweyisa ng'endiga, gukaaba ng'endiga, naye ng'ebigendererwa byagwo si bya kubeera ndiga, si bya kirigaliga, wabula bya musege. Kati gwoli wano oyagala kutulowoozesa nti musajja yakyuka bukyusi. Nedda omusajja abadde bw'atyo okuva emabega eri. Kale kankose ekigambo kya musumba Isaiah. Akyukira mu buntu bwe. Kubanga tosuubira musege kukyuka kufuuka ndiga, wala gukyuka kuva mu busege bwagwo mwe gukyukira. Nono pathological liar akyukira mu kubeera pathological liar, akyukira mu ekyo. Enkyukakyuka ndoza gyoyogerako ssebo neyanza ssebo.
Nze ndowooza Museveni who was greedy for power from the word go, but at the same time he was willing to work for Ugandans. Now when opposition started coming up, now the resources shifted from working for Ugandans to protect to keeping him in power. Because if Ugandans were getting the right services as they are getting, there's employment and business is moving on well, the noise will be minimized. But because he has diverted majority of the resources to his sustainability and power, then he has created a vacuum in other sectors of the economy of the country. That is why the noise is now a lot. And the other thing, he has overstayed, because we are saying this in the 90s, most of us knew that he was going to rule up to 2006. Now, when he overstays, so even at home, when someone comes to visit you, he's a good visitor, but when he overstays, he starts to become a liability. But probably the guy could have changed along the way, Tom, because of the environment that he's operating in now.
Pedersen, first of all, I don't believe in this Western democracy. Me, I am typically an African, and I love, I want, I yearn, and I work for being the man in my house. I have no problem with the Bachwezi conquering the Baganda, conquering the Iteso, conquering the Langi, conquering whatever they conquer, just like the Baganda conquered the Banyoro, the Basoga, and so on. Those days, that is African. I have no problem with Museveni staying for the whole of his life ruling this country. I have no problem. My only problem is for Museveni to hide under democracy, and yet he is a conquering king. You get me? I have no problem. Now, this kind of propaganda that you bring about of longevity or overstay, blah 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 blah. Mutebi Mutebi is the king of Buganda. Before Mutebi, his father was the king. Now, Buganda is not only about a certain tribe, but there are many tribes that make up Buganda. So I have no problem with Museveni being the king of Uganda as it is now. I have no problem. He can rule for all the time he wants. Let there be things that enable us live minimally afford life in Uganda. I have no problem with that.
But you see, most of the resources are now diverted for political reasons. Because
now Suluhu in Tanzania arrested the leader of opposition. Why can't Museveni do this? Actually, Museveni is better placed to incarcerate all those who come out to resist him, because he has done this.
But Tom, you see,
this issue of hiding under democracy and hoodwinking us, I don't like it. I don't like it. Let the man rule.
That is his style. He's not brutal like how Uncle PK is. For him,
but his son is coming. His son may come. You wait, you will see. Kumbe yakode Rutembana. We shall give you a Karamoja name because you'll run away from that side and come to Karamoja. You wait.
Is it top? We have to appreciate Museveni's style of leadership. He's very cunning. He has to portray this image, yet the behind the veil is a brutal dictator.
Is he cunning or subtle, like the serpent in Genesis?
Maybe he's cunning.
Maybe. Okay, go ahead.
So he's not a brutal dictator like how Kagame is. So that when you oppose him, then you extinguish. He will let you oppose him, do your political activities, but he will never let you to win.
Then Museveni is deadlier than Kagame. Kagame tells you, when you come, I will shoot you. Museveni says, you can come, I may shoot you, but if I don't shoot you, you can go through. So I think Museveni is ruthless. He's very dangerous.
But at least you see, we have the opportunity to discuss such things. We have the opportunity to discuss such things.
Now, look, that's all the script of yours. Let the man rule, but let him reduce taxes in the banks. let him reduce these taxes, these unwanted expenditures, and the man rules for life. I have no problem. Even if his son and grandson come, I have no problem.
Even me, that's what but you see, the problem is why he cannot reduce them, because he needs money to sustain him in that throne of his.
The money we have here is enough, Pedersen. Let him cut off the greedy, the greedy throats. The money we have here is sufficient. We have mineral resources. How much money does Museveni need to live, to survive?
I think he spends like 10 trillion, him and his family.
On who?
But now just imagine,
because he spends that money. He spends that money on people whom he wants to pull on his side, because there is opposition. Let him say Uganda is a one-party ruled country, and we have him. That is all.
Museveni cannot do that because he's cunning. For him, he wants to show there's a parliament, there's the opposition, democracy. So he will make sure that he suffocates it using money, but not outrightly coming out to say there's no opposition.
Now you see, if Ugandans get annoyed with him because of that, I think Ugandans are right. Let him just come out and say, no more opposition here. Or alternatively, he can internationally say there is opposition, but then he presses them here, like Suluhu is doing. And we go ahead.
But you see, both approaches have advantages and disadvantages. People in Rwanda don't even speak, don't even say anything. But they are enjoying, they have the services, they have the what, but they don't have the peace that we have. For us here, we are lacking we are lacking some of the services, but we have the freedom. We can talk. Spire can draw him in cartoons. You can go on radio and abuse him.
So Pedersen, you would rather have a regime where you can talk on an empty stomach, where you can talk on when you are the future of your family and yourself is very uncertain, but when you can talk. I would rather stay with somebody where I cannot talk, but I'm living a good life. I have no problem. How do I benefit? How do I benefit out of talking when I don't have food in my belly, when I have no shelter, when I have no basic needs?
Of course, now
when I have no land, all the land is almost being taken by you people, because we are busy talking. You guys,
the moderator will bring that as a topic and we discuss. Would you have freedom, or would you have which dictatorship is good? Carry. Good night. Okay.